Jennifer Lopez's name is once again making headlines, but not for a blockbuster movie or chart-topping hit. This time, it's for something far more serious. As her ex, Sean Diddy Combs, faces explosive federal charges, a shocking question has emerged. Could J-Lo be dragged into this case as a witness, or worse, a co-conspirator? While the world watches Diddy's empire unravel, Lopez's silence is raising eyebrows. And according to legal insiders, that silence might be more than just self-preservation. It could be part of the story. The deeper you go, the clearer it becomes. This isn't just a case about celebrity drama. It's about power, manipulation, and a potential criminal network hiding in plain sight. For years, rumors followed Sean Diddy Combs like a shadow. Whispers of violence, control, and dark secrets trailed him through nearly every chapter of his career, but none of them ever stuck, until now. The federal government has stepped in with the kind of charges that aren't about tabloid headlines. They're about prison time. Diddy isn't just being accused of abuse or bad behavior. He's been named in a sweeping federal investigation under the RICO Act, the same law used to dismantle mafia families and drug cartels. RICO, short for the Racketeer. Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, was designed to target organized crime. It doesn't just charge individuals. It connects the entire system, businesses, employees, contracts, and cover-ups, into one big conspiracy. According to prosecutors, Diddy's empire wasn't just about music and fashion. They say it was the shell of a criminal machine designed to control people, silence dissent, and profit off manipulation and fear. That means every deal, every brand partnership, and every artist he managed could be part of something much bigger and much darker than anyone realized. Even more chilling, federal investigators claim they've uncovered a pattern. One that shows this wasn't a one-time incident or a bad breakup. They allege that behind the scenes, Diddy built a network of fear and obedience, using his power, money, and fame to force silence and compliance. His homes, his businesses, even his romantic relationships? Prosecutors say they may have all served the same purpose, to cover up crimes and control the people around him. And if that's true, then anyone who helped protect him, or stayed silent, while the abuse happened, might not be innocent bystanders. They might be accessories, because this case is no longer just about Diddy. It's about everyone connected to him, his associates, his exes, his inner circle. And that's where Jennifer Lopez's name suddenly becomes very relevant. At first glance, it looked like the opportunity of a lifetime. In 2006, Cassie Ventura, young, beautiful, and full of promise, signed a 10-album deal with Bad Boy Records, the label owned by none other than Sean Diddy Combs. For most artists, landing a contract like that is a dream. But nearly 2 decades later, only one album was ever released. And now, what once looked like a career-launching moment is being described by experts as a carefully disguised trap. In the music industry, 10-album deals are practically unheard of. Even the most seasoned artists, people with decades-long careers, rarely hit that number. It would take most performers 20 to 30 years to fulfill that kind of commitment. So why did Diddy lock Cassie into a deal so extreme and unrealistic? Prosecutors believe it was never meant to be fulfilled. They argue the contract wasn't about launching Cassie's music career. It was about owning her, controlling what she could do, who she could work with, and when she could release music, if ever. And the numbers back that up. Despite being with Diddy for years, both professionally and personally, Cassie released only one album. Diddy, who had massive reach in the industry at the time, could have promoted her, collaborated with top producers, or put her in the spotlight. But instead her career stalled, and the contract kept her tied to him indefinitely. She couldn't leave. She couldn't record with anyone else. She couldn't build a brand without his permission. In effect, he didn't just manage her, he silenced her. And that silence, according to prosecutors, was the entire point. The contract became a tool of control, keeping her financially and legally dependent on the man she says was manipulating, threatening, and abusing her. And if you're wondering why she didn't just walk away, remember this wasn't just a bad boyfriend. This was her boss, her label, her gatekeeper. He held the keys to her future, her fame, and her finances. That kind of power imbalance doesn't just ruin careers, it can ruin lives. But this twisted business dynamic was just the beginning, because what started as control on paper soon became something far more dangerous in real life. As more details emerge, Cassie's story is shifting, from a tale of career control to a chilling pattern of psychological and physical abuse. Behind the glitz and glam of red carpets and recording studios was a young woman allegedly trapped in a relationship where escape wasn't just difficult, it was dangerous. And the most disturbing part? Every element of control seemed calculated, planned, and part of something much bigger. Cassie's testimony reveals that when she tried to resist, the consequences were immediate and violent. In one particularly harrowing account, she says Diddy physically assaulted her, then had his personal security drag her away from the scene, not to get help, but to hide the evidence. He reportedly sent her to a hotel, not for rest or recovery, but so he wouldn't have to look at what he had done. A punishment disguised as isolation. That's not just cruelty, it's a strategy. A way to erase the aftermath of violence while maintaining full control. But the psychological damage didn't stop there. Cassie says Diddy threatened her repeatedly, not just her, but her family. He allegedly pulled firearms, made direct threats, and used fear as a constant leash. Cassie was forced to live in a state of emotional captivity, torn between protecting herself and protecting the people she loved. She knew that leaving wasn't just difficult, it could be deadly. This kind of control isn't always visible to the outside world. To the public, she was Diddy's beautiful girlfriend, living a life of luxury. But behind closed doors, she says she was living in fear, a fear so strong it kept her frozen for years. And when people ask why she didn't just walk away, they're ignoring the psychology of trauma. Experts point to a phenomenon known as Stockholm Syndrome, where victims begin to rationalize or even defend their abuser as a survival mechanism. Cassie wasn't weak, she was cornered. The most tragic part? She reportedly tried to leave, multiple times, but each time she was pulled back in. Whether through threats, manipulation, or the fear that walking away could endanger her loved ones, Cassie says she stayed, because leaving could have meant far worse. And prosecutors believe this wasn't just a toxic relationship. It was part of a systematic form of coercion used to trap her under Diddy's control. They argue that when emotional manipulation is combined with career sabotage, threats, and isolation, it crosses the line from abuse into criminal enterprise. Because this wasn't just happening behind closed doors, it was happening under the protection of a multi-million-dollar brand. And if Diddy treated one woman this way, the question becomes, how many others were there? So how does this all connect to racketeering? Legal analysts say it's simple. Diddy didn't need to create a new crime ring. He allegedly turned his existing empire into one. From music to alcohol to fashion, all of his ventures appeared legitimate on the surface. But according to the prosecution, that was the point. They claim he used his businesses to cover for trafficking, exploitation, and intimidation. The law only requires one part of a business to be involved in criminal acts for it to qualify under RICO. In Diddy's case, they say, the entire machine was built to protect his darker motives. Now here's where things take a jaw-dropping turn, because this story isn't just about Cassie. It may also involve Jennifer Lopez. Back in the late 1990s, J-Lo and Diddy were romantically involved. During a now infamous incident at a New York nightclub, shots were fired, chaos erupted, and rumors swirled for years about what really happened that night. According to two NYPD detectives who later reviewed the case, J-Lo was caught on surveillance, carrying a firearm into the club and wasn't searched by security. After the shooting, she allegedly threw the weapon out the car window while they fled the scene. The incident was eventually buried, and charges against J-Lo were dropped. But now, with Cassie confirming she was also forced to smuggle weapons into clubs for Diddy, the patterns are impossible to ignore. Some insiders are now calling J-Lo's role into serious question. They say she wasn't an innocent girlfriend caught in the crossfire. She was helping. One survivor said plainly, "She's no victim, she's a co-conspirator." The claim? That J-Lo willingly carried firearms for Diddy because she knew women were less likely to be searched by security. This tactic, they explain, is well known in street culture, where men use female companions to smuggle illegal items into clubs or events. And when you realize this same strategy was allegedly used with Cassie, the implication becomes chilling. This was a repeated pattern, and J-Lo may have been part of it. Despite the resurfacing of these serious claims, J-Lo has stayed completely silent. No statements, no denials, no comments. This, from a woman known for speaking out on everything from her relationships to political causes. Years ago, during an interview, she cryptically described her breakup with Diddy by saying, "Let's just say it ended with a bang." That line now carries new weight. Her silence isn't just noticeable, it's suspicious. Some believe she's staying quiet to avoid being subpoenaed. Others think she's trying to protect her brand. But in a case this explosive, silence can speak louder than words. One of the most powerful voices calling for justice is Natana, a woman who claims she was literally shot in the face by Diddy. She's one of the few surviving victims from his early years and has been speaking out for decades, largely ignored. Natana has said she would take the stand with bells on, if asked, and believes she represents all the voices that were silenced or paid off. Her words are haunting. "Nothing good will come to him until he does right by me." She's not just calling out Diddy. She's calling out the entire machine, including anyone who helped him or stayed silent. Natana's claims line up with another disturbing accusation, that Diddy's legal team has a history of silencing witnesses. During his original 1999 case, it's alleged that the witness list was leaked early and many people were paid to change their stories or disappear. This time around, the feds are playing it differently. They've reportedly held back the witness list to prevent amnesia from setting in again. But this tactic raises another question. Is J-Lo's name on that list? If so, will she be subpoenaed? Or will she once again be allowed to walk away unscathed? Legal experts say there's a real chance J-Lo could be called to testify, even if it's at the last minute. If she's sympathetic to Diddy, her credibility could crumble under pressure. If she tries to plead the fifth, the implications could be devastating for her reputation and for the trial. Her cryptic bang comment might become a key piece of evidence, and her past actions, carrying a weapon, fleeing a crime scene, staying silent for years, could finally catch up to her. In this case, silence might not be a shield, it might be a sign of guilt. So the question remains, is Jennifer Lopez simply a former girlfriend caught in a decades-old storm? Or is she a thread in the fabric of a much darker story? As this trial unfolds, one thing is clear. The past is no longer staying buried. Will J-Lo speak out? Will she be forced to testify? Or will the system protect her once again? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe J-Lo has something to hide? Should she face questioning in court? Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and turn on that notification bell because we're following every shocking development as this case continues to unfold. Stay tuned. What comes next might change everything.